Hey everyone, DJ Short here from NBC Sports EDGE, joined by, you're this way, Christopher Crawford, and we are here today to have a baseball Q&A, but more importantly, perhaps, we're going to open some baseball cards. I have the new Topps 2022 Series 1. I have a hobby box of 24 packs of those. And I don't know where Chris went. Chris disappeared. I think he's going to pop back in a second. And Chris has some, here he is.
Whatever.
There you go.
For whatever.
Yeah, what happened to you?
For whatever reason, my volume wasn't working, and I really like your voice, so I really wanted to make sure that I could hear you.
I thought you were ghosting me, but here you are. So Chris has some Bowman Inception from 2021. So pretty excited to open this stuff with you guys. And if you have questions, you can drop those for us throughout the chat. It doesn't have to be about baseball cards, but if you want to comment on that, obviously feel free to do so. If you want to talk about, well, I don't know how depressing it is to get into the CBA talks, but we could do that. Any fantasy questions, preseason stuff, happy to answer that as well. But why don't we get started? We can start to dig into some of these cards. I'm going to start with the Topps. There's going to be a lot of paper with this box. So, I'm going to show you guys some of the, the initial packs that I opened. Then I'm just going to start opening in the background and showing you guys some of the noteworthy stuff. And if I get any interesting inserts. So
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm a little nervous. I'm hoping I get a decent hit in here. Here's Clayton Kershaw.
Hey, Clayton Kershaw. Will that be his last card as a member of the Dodgers?
I don't think so. I think he'll be back. I could see maybe the Rangers, that they were mentioned as a possibility, prior to the lockout, and they are spending a lot of money, or they were spending a lot of money prior to the lockout. So I could see maybe that. But otherwise, I think Dodgers for him.
Yeah, it's just too hard for me to picture him in any other uniform.
It would be a shame if he didn't finish his career there, but those kind of things, it has to go both ways. So they have to show that commitment to him too. So Jose Barrios in the Blue Jays jersey. Here.
I really like the design of the cards this year, by the way. I think it's a really clean look.
They're really pretty. So welcome to the show, Andrew McCutcheon.
Nice.
Insert. Christian Pache. What do you think of Pache at this? What do you think of him at this point?
So in real life, love him. I think he's going to be a very well above average center fielder for a long time. If we're talking fantasy, I'm pretty much out on Christian Pache. I have him listed in my top 100, and I really kind of regret it a little bit because I just don't know what the offensive upside is here. I don't see him being above average in any offensive category. The thing that I keep coming back to is, dude can fly. He's really fast. But he doesn't steal bases, and he's never been good at it at the minor league level, and it's hard to all of a sudden become good at it at this level. How about you?
Yeah, I'm out from a fantasy perspective. One of those players who's going to be better in real life than fantasy, and
for sure,
sometimes those players can go a little overvalued in a dynasty league. You see a player on a top 100 list, and you automatically pick up that player for your dynasty team, but he's just not one of those guys.
Right.
And I remember when Francisco Lindor was coming up, a lot of people were like, oh, he's a defense over fantasy type of player. And we learned within a few weeks of him coming up that was not the case. But
not the case.
I mean, the good news is that Pache is still very young. So he has a chance to progress.
Sure.
This guy's pretty good. Vlad Jr.
He's all right. Vlad Jr. That's a beautiful card. Yeah.
Alex Bregman. I think we're going to see a rebound from him this year.
Absolutely.
Let's see what else we got. This is an interesting one. Jarren Duran. What do you think about him after what we saw last year?
I still like him a lot. My concern is the plate discipline needs to improve considerably. But we've seen guys, as they get more comfortable in the league, get a chance to do that. He's somebody that I really wish could get a full spring training, a real full-time thing. And it's nice that he can. Well, he can't though, because he's not in the minor league camp because he's on the 40-man roster, so he can't take part in that stuff. So So that's a big bent. He's better to me. He's more of a 2023 play than a 2022 play, but certainly a guy when he gets the chance, and I imagine he'll be given a chance to win a job relatively early on. Certainly worth a look in fantasy just because I like that lineup a lot and a chance to score runs.
Yeah. So I have the 1987 inserts are part of the 2022 design. So here's Chris Bryant in the Giants uniform.
How do you like the 87 design?
I mean, it's an iconic design, even though it's kind of like tacky, but I do like it. I'm a fan.
That's a very diplomatic answer.
Yeah.
I liked them when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite now. I will say compared, the 86 design is one of my all-time favorites, and that was what we got last year. So, but I will say this, and you will get to see it if hopefully in the silver packs, but the chrome version of these things are gorgeous, like gorgeous. It's very tough though to tell. Make sure you look at the back of the cards if you open them up, because it's very tough to tell the parallels, because they all have that similar bronze finish. You may not know that you actually have a card out of 50 or 25.
That's a good point. So Bo Bichette here.
Beautiful.
Not my favorite picture for him.
No,
I think our magazine has the prettiest picture ever of Bo Bichette, I have to say.
It does. It does.
On newsstands now. Check it out.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask if that was on newsstands now. Yeah, that's something I would definitely take it.
It is. It is. Randy Arozarena.
Finally, not a rookie card. He was a rookie for something like 5 seasons. But I do love, I got to tell you, as a kid, the RC was nice, or the rated rookie or whatever. That cup meant everything to me. That little All-Star cup was the coolest thing in the entire world to me. I've learned now that it's not nearly as valuable as the rookie card, but it is personally something I need to see.
So Corey Seager, Dodgers, obviously signed with the Rangers. Welcome to the show, Carlos Correa. And I have 4 team cards all back to back here. Not my favorite.
Nice. Yeah.
Padres, Rays, White Sox, Athletics.
Yeah. The best team card that I've seen so far is the Angels, and hopefully you get one because it's Trout and Ohtani. So that's a fun one. But yeah.
We'll do one more for now, and then you can open one. How about that?
Okay, that sounds good.
Oh, speaking of Trout, here he is.
There you go. That's a nice card, although it does make him look like he's playing shortstop, but it's pretty cool looking.
Salvi Perez here after his huge power display last season.
Yeah. Me and Matt Williams were the 2 people who did not have him as number 1 on our catcher rankings, but we both like him quite a bit. There's a lot to like.
Josiah Gray in the 87 design rookie card.
That's very nice. Yeah, pitchers are pitchers, but if you're going to get a pitcher rookie card, it's nice to have like an insert type of one for sure. Yeah.
So Max Scherzer here, hopefully doing some damage in the negotiations right now.
Yes,
with Major League Baseball. But go ahead and start opening, Chris, and I will keep opening mine and hopefully get a Wander Franco.
There you go. So that's the big hit, obviously, that we're looking for in Topps is the Wander Franco. I was talking to Colin about it in our podcast. A PSA Wander Franco 10 sold for $2,000. So that's pretty crazy. But so in this set, it's obviously much less cards. We get 7 cards in this one, but we're guaranteed 2 autos. Oftentimes 3 autos come out of this thing in a couple of parallels. So, and I see in the back I got a redemption. And a nice card to open on the back. This is Grayson Rodriguez to 75. And Grayson Rodriguez, to me, is the best pitching prospect in baseball in real life. I have Hunter Green slightly ahead of him in fantasy because I think he's going to miss more bats just because of that elite fastball. But aren't those cards nice looking? It's got it feels like an acetate look, but it's actually just card stock. But really pretty card. Bowman Inception is a return product for Topps. It was not something that they had going for a while, but they brought it back, and I think it was a really good decision. Christian Santana, one of the better international prospects of the last few years. And if you look closely there, you don't even have to look that closely. They put the 1 to represent that it is their first year of Bowman for them. So kind of a cool little thing that they added. Reginald Preciado, decent prospect. Kind of, if I'm being honest with you, overrated in the card market. People love them Cub prospects on the internet, but certainly got to keep an eye on. Speaking of which, Blaze Jordan. So Blaze Jordan, I think, is certainly an interesting prospect and a guy I think could be a starting third baseman. Might be going a little nuts here, but it's certainly a nice name to see. A little biased towards this guy because, grandma. But Emerson Hancock, was surprised to see him not being featured on a couple of top 100 lists from people I really respect. But I kind of get it because he has dealt with some injury stuff and the fact that, what's the path with the Mariners? Because they have about 6 different guys who are kind of like Emerson Hancock. Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is fun. All right. First auto. Okay. Garrett Mitchell.
Oh,
Garrett
nice.
Mitchell. Very nice. And I love that signature. Now, look, I'm not going to blame anybody who doesn't have a great signature right now because cursive isn't something that has to exist.
Yeah.
But when you get a good one, like, have you seen Luis Rodriguez's auto of the Dodgers? That should be hung in the Louvre. It is the prettiest thing in the entire world. And then my final card. Boom.
Oh,
Spencer
my goodness. That is
cover signings. Oh, that is a huge card, folks. That is so exciting.
Awesome, man. Congratulations.
That is really cool. Thank you so much. So that means that what this will be is it'll be, I think, numbered, but if not, it'll be with the silver ink on the auto. That is so cool. I probably should have saved this box for the second one because we're probably not going to hit that kind of heat again. But oh my goodness gracious, Spencer Torkelson silver signings. For those who aren't familiar with the redemption process, what happens is before these guys, and you have to, as you can tell, because we have cards with Corey Seager as a Dodger and Max Scherzer as a Dodger, you have to print these things very early on. And so you have to have them ready to go. And if they haven't signed all their stuff, they'll give you a redemption card. Usually doesn't take too long to get it back, like a couple of months at most, assuming the guy isn't hurt and can't sign. Like people are waiting for Cody Bellinger stuff. I don't think Cody Bellinger could use his hand for a little while because of what was going on. But yeah, the redemption process, it's an easy one. Don't get like intimidated by it, especially with Topps. They do a really nice job of redeeming these things. I might just leave.
Dude, that is, go out on a high note, man. It's all downhill from here.
I can't hear you, DJ. The volume's not working again now.
So I got my first Wander.
Hey, there he is. Beautiful card. Looks pretty well centered there. That's have you done?
What do you think about these? I'm sorry. I was going to say, what do you think about the card going for $2,000?
I think it is nuttier than a word I'm not allowed to say on this podcast. Because here's what's going to happen is the reason that's sold for such a high price is because there's something. If you're looking on eBay, you'll see something that says Pop 1 or Pop 5 or something like that. And what that means is it's literally a population of 1. It was the first one. It was the only PSA 10 that existed. I think that's going to be a $300 card in about 6 weeks. And look, that's great. $300 for a base card is great, but $2,000 it ain't. And what that mostly shows is a couple of things. 1, this market is insane. 2, people have too much money. And 3, this market is insane and people have too much money. Like that's just the way it is. I have personally never sent in a card to get graded. I have bought graded cards or I've hit them. It's a really interesting process. It's a lot more affordable than it used to be. And when I say affordable, it's still $100 to send the card in. Like that's not for everybody. So you got to make sure that you think the card is worth at least $100 before you're willing to do it. But if you hit that 10, and especially if it's like a rookie or a short numbered or something like that, it can be worth an awful lot of money. And it's nice to have that protection. All due respect to the top loaders and the magnets and stuff like that. Those things are going to wear out someday. You're much safer, I think, putting them in those PSA 10 things. But it is insane to me that a base card went for $2,000. Well, no auto, not numbered, just the normal base card. That speaks to, it also speaks to how good Wander Franco has a chance to be. Like, this is a chance that to be a generational player. I mean,
And another Wander.
Oh, see that one will get you if you're looking to get some Shake Shack. That one will get you some good money on eBay. I've seen those go for a nice little penny. That is a very nice card, and it's great that they're putting. Hey,
Major League
there we
Material
go.
Jack Greinke. So that's a relic. So with the hobby box, you're guaranteed an auto or a relic. I may still get an auto, but probably not. I mean, we'll see how it goes. But
Sure.
I've heard some people really don't like these, but it's cool.
Is that game used though, or is it player worn?
Game used memorabilia.
So that's big. Here's the thing. There is what you'll see people rail against is something called a manufactured hit. And what that means is they're just cutting up a piece of a jersey and sticking it in the card and calling that a relic or an RPA, when what it is just really, okay, you just took something and stuck it in a card. But game used is different. Game used, it's like, okay, this was actually something that Zach Greinke wore during a game. The value of that is significant. I'm not talking about hundreds of dollars. I'm not even necessarily talking about 50s of dollars, but certainly more valuable than just some little relic. It's why, unfortunately, I'm not trying to. Topps is awesome, but like when you have those 70th anniversary things, that they put in, there's no value to that because it's just a silly little pin that they put into the card. But when it's game used memorabilia, it's a big difference, I think.
Yeah, I mean, on the back of it, it says the memorabilia contained on this card is not from any specific game, event, or season. Right. I don't know what that means, but
it basically means it's almost it's like a night out of drinking and you just don't remember what the heck happened. You don't really remember what cards you cut out of. But if it is game used, Topps is not going to make that up. They are not going to say, "Hey, we're making this stuff up." One of the cool things about Topps Definitive, which is a much more expensive set, is they will put if you look here. This little MLB sticker, they will put that sticker on the patch and it will link you to what game they played in, which is a really cool little thing. That's and obviously, cool. If the player hit 3 home runs that day, it could be a little more valuable than 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts type of thing. But, it'd be nice to have a little bit of history behind the card, but game used memorabilia is game used memorabilia.
Yeah. Here's Vlad Jr. with the 87.
I like that design a lot. I really do.
Very pretty. Jared Kelenic Future Stars card.
Nice. Very cool. I love the Future Stars this year. They're
it's pretty. It's very nice.
It's a nice little break from the monotony sometimes too, to be able to look at cards like that.
I have quite a few of the Future Stars already. Alec Manoah is here.
Nice.
Jazz Chisholm's here. Logan Gilbert, relevant to you as well. Andrew Vaughn.
I love Andrew Vaughn still.
Yeah.
What do you think?
87.
Very nice. What do you think of Manoah coming into this year? Because I think he's one of the most interesting pitchers among the not established stars. Like that guy, if I was guessing on a young pitcher making that next step up into that potential to be the starting pitcher one, I think it might be Manoah.
I completely agree. And I do wonder, like, it's not like I'm rooting for a 140 game season, but I would be a little bit concerned about how many innings he might throw. But if the season's 140 games, and you're drafting fantasy wise, you maybe feel a bit more secure. I also wonder, though, if spring training is shortened and pitchers aren't going to get as stretched out, how ready will they be at the start of the season? How protective are teams going to be with pitchers? It's going to enter a whole new wrinkle into how we evaluate these players, I think.
That's the thing, man, is like, I think it's more what you were talking about latter than the former, is the fact that if you were doing 4 weeks of spring training, which is almost assuredly what we're going to have, pitchers are only going to be able to throw about 65 or 70 pitches in games. And you're talking about one time through the lineup with that. So that means for about the first month of the season, you're going to have pitchers that don't qualify for wins unless they are just super efficient. And in today's baseball, there are no super efficient starts anymore. Like 65 to 70 is about 4 innings of work. If you're lucky, 5. So that's going to play such a major factor in how we do this. And I do wonder if maybe we'll see more openers, which could help. Like if you know the pitcher's going, then he's got a better chance to qualify for the win. But I think that's one of the most interesting things going into drafts going into this season.
Yeah, I think it'll kind of be like in the shortened 2020 season where initially pitchers weren't fully stretched out. There was a lot of opener usage in the first couple of weeks. I think we could maybe see something similar to that, at least assuming spring training will be 4 weeks. And I think that's pretty much a guarantee whenever that ends up getting settled at this point. So certainly I think that'll make us maybe slightly move some pitchers down and maybe move some of those younger pitchers up since innings are a little bit closer.
Absolutely. It's going to be a really, really, I hate it, but it's going to be interesting. There's no doubt about it. It's a little bit of that car crash that you can't help but look away from. For us, it's more the car crash that we're being paid to write about, but it is definitely so.
You know, it is interesting though, because this is going to be the 3rd straight season that we're not going to have like a normal season, because even going into last year, you weren't sure how much to believe in 60 games. So you weren't really sure where to put players going. I mean, you kind of could, but it was a rough estimate. And then if this year shortened even more so because of the shortened spring training, certain players are going to be signing late or may sign into the start of the season and may not get the usual ramp up and stuff. So it's going to be a weird year.
It's gonna be a really weird year. I am ready for a normal year. Here's hoping 2023 is the most normal of normals that we can have.
I don't know if normal exists anymore.
That's a very good point. Not normal is the new normal. I get people who complain online about like, gosh, spring training is so long and so pointless. Yeah, the games are pointless. They really don't serve a purpose outside of those guys getting their work in. But it matters, man. Those pitchers especially need that ramp up time. Those hitters too need to be able to see secondary pitches actually being thrown. It does make a difference. I know it's not fun, but there are a lot of things in this life that are not fun that are very much necessary. And spring training baseball is one of them.
So my first home run challenge card, which are always fun. My first home run challenge.
That's a really good one. That's a fun one. So these are called rainbow foils. I love that picture, by the way. That is so great. That is cool. Unfortunately,
Trevor Rogers, Generation Now, Trevor Rogers.
I like that insert as well. Very cool. Very cool. Unfortunately, some people are getting the home run game with Buster Posey, which is probably not going to be a great one this year. I imagine Topps might be willing to do something more like, hey, trade it for your Brandon Belt or something like that. Someone with the Giants or someone like that. Yeah.
Let's hope so. And speaking of Posey, here he is.
There you go.
His card. Happy retirement.
Card.
Yeah.
First ballot?
For me, yeah. You add in the postseason excellence and everything.
It's
so here we go. This is very pretty. Pedro Martinez.
Oh, very nice. I love the die cuts this year. Those are so nice. Yeah. Anything that's like a break from the paper is to be, and again, I love this stuff, but it's nice to see the break from the paper. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. But yeah, Posey, I think reminding everyone how great he was in his last year is really going to help his Hall of Fame case. So
he left a very nice lasting first impression, or last impression, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah. Juan Soto here.
Very nice. Is he card 1 again this year?
He's 150 here. Isn't
150? Okay. I think it's Fernando Tatis Jr. Now that I think about it.
You might be right. I actually think it's Ohtani. Is it
Ohtani? Yeah. You know what? I think it might be Ohtani too. There's so many great players that you can put in that one spot, and they usually for years it was Nolan Ryan that was in that one spot. Like I could just count on it. And then, of course, number 7 being retired for Mickey Mantle. Have you gotten a chance to see? So there are 2 inserts that I am really trying to do my best not to spend all of my money on. The first is, have you seen the home field advantage cards?
I have. Man,
those are beautiful. I will be getting one of those in the mail today. I got the Ronald Acuna in a break. I am super excited. I was actually mad that the guy I bought it from didn't put it in a mag, because it absolutely should be in a mag. But those cards are gorgeous. And being completely honest with you, they are very much a blatant ripoff of the Panini Downtown cards. Like it is like the exact same design and stuff, but they're gorgeous. And these guys, everybody rips off from everybody. Like Inception, Panini has a set called Panini Origins, and it's almost the exact same look to it. So, exactly. There's very little originality going on in this world. And number 2, the Mickey Mantle inserts, which are like super, super, super short print. I forget what they're called now. Something Call to the Mick or Remembering the Mick or something like that.
Right.
They're really cool too. I think the inserts this year are absolute home runs. Even the generation now, which are not short print by any stretch of the imagination, are really good looking cards.
So I got a Jacob deGrom here, which I'm happy
Very
about.
Nice. Good picture. Good picture.
Ozzie Smith 1987 card. Which
that brings me back. That brings me back.
And I got like Acuna here, Bryce Harper.
Nice.
Tatis. So I'm getting all my guys. I only have one. Well, I have the insert Wander and the regular Wander, but those are my only Wanders I've gotten till this point. So I'm down to 4 packs with my box. If you want to open your own one.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. All right. Good luck living up to that last one we had, but we certainly can try, can't we? Oh, a name on the back that I like quite a bit. And we can kind of talk about him. Oh, it's not the name I thought, but it's a nice name. I thought this was Julio Rodriguez, but it's Luis Rodriguez.
Okay.
One of the better international prospects. So these are paralleled. If you get the green, it's like a shorter print. So a little more value and a nice break from what was going on there. Here's a very underrated prospect to me. He's a guy named Jose Salas, one of the better prospects in the Marlins system. If you're in a dynasty league and if you're like in a keep forever, like you have a big roster, go get Jose Salas. I might go get this guy too. His name is Bobby Witt Jr.
Very nice.
He's really interesting. And so I'll ask you, DJ, do you think, okay, I'll put the over under at 99.5. Where do you think Bobby Witt's average draft position is going to be in Yahoo leagues? Is it the over or is it the under?
I think he'll be drafted earlier. So I guess under? Yeah, under.
Yeah. I worded that terribly, by the way. But so you think he's going before the 100th pick?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think he's going to win a spot on the opening day roster.
That's the big thing for me. Is like if he's even in contention, I think that's right. I do wonder though, just because a lot of this is going to determine how the CBA works out. Like if service time manipulation is going to be a real thing. It looks like it's going to be. So I don't know. I really don't know. I'll say this though, even if he's only down for a couple of weeks, it's not hard for me at all to see him being a shortstop one. As good as that position is, it's not hard for me at all to see him being one of the top dozen or so shortstops. I guess the question is like, do you take him over a Jazz Chisholm or do you take him over like I'm certainly taking Wander Franco over him. He's the most interesting. I don't know if you've seen some Twitter discourse as of late, some talk about Wander Franco.
Yes.
Do you have those same fantasy concerns?
That his ceiling isn't super high.
Yeah.
I kind of see that. He's not going to be like a 30-30 shortstop.
Right.
But he could win a batting he could win a batting title. I think he could be 2020 for sure.
Yeah.
But so he doesn't climb into the first round for me just yet. But if you were drafting a dynasty league today, he would probably go probably toward the end of the first round, I would think.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I'll say this, I don't think he's a 30-30 player this year, and I don't know if he's ever going to get to the 30 portion of it. I think there's going to be seasons as Wander Franco builds in. And let's keep in mind, this guy is turning 21 this year. Yeah. That 30 homers are a lot. Like, there's going to be some seasons where I think he approaches 40 homers. Bat speed is so good, and his ability to lift the baseball is so good that I think that, and I can see him being that rare type of guy who hits 30 to 40 home runs and hits 310. Like, he has that much bat control. He is special. Like, he's the best prospect that I've scouted, and I've scouted some really, really good prospects. Mike Trout would be it if I was just a little bit older. Then Mike Trout would be the guy, because I didn't really scout Mike Trout as much as I looked at his stats and said, oh, wow, pretty. But actually watching Mike Trout is good. Jeter Downs. So Jeter Downs saw his stock kind of plummet this year, but was really good in the Arizona Fall League and still a pretty talented guy. I mean, I'm certainly not drafting him in redraft leagues, but in Dynasty, I think he's still just barely a hold. And so he got 3 autos in this one, so that's fun. None of the 3 autos all that great, but that's okay. I do like Angel Martinez, and I will say one of the reasons why I like that is if you look at his autograph, it kind of looks like a hot dog. If you see what I'm talking about there, where his name's kind of in the middle, yeah, that's kind of cool. The Cleveland has done a pretty good job, the Guardians, of developing these type of guys. Like George Valera is another guy that I'm keeping an eye on. Gilberto Celestino is my second auto. 4th outfielder. Probably nothing more than that. Pretty much irrelevant in Dynasties type stuff, but maybe a chance to have a decent MLB career. And then finally, Jared Schuster, this is out of 99, so that's kind of nice. That's the blue. Really good-looking card. It kind of looks like he's pitching from heaven, to be completely honest with you. But the other thing I like about these cards is that they're not sticker autos. How do you feel about sticker autos?
I don't like sticker autos.
Yeah, so I don't like sticker autos either. I will say this. They take the redemption process and cut it way down because it does give them the chance to sign those stickers and get them out to stuff. And during a pandemic, I especially get it. Like, you got to be careful with this stuff and all of that. But there is something about looking at this beautiful card, seeing an autograph, and then seeing tape around the side of it. That is just not my favorite either.
It's not as cool. But yeah, like you said, I do understand in these times it might be a little bit easier to do it that way.
Absolutely.
Knowing that the player actually was present signing the card is kind of something a little more special, I think.
Absolutely.
So I got this blue Aroldis Chapman card out of 50.
Oh, that is the Father's Day card, which is a card that a lot of people, Father's Day and Mother's Day are the two that people really, Father's Day, Mother's Day, and Independence Day are the big holiday cards that they'll put out in this thing. I think there's a Memorial Day one as well that's like super, super rare. But those are nice. And, they're looking at Aroldis Chapman, not my favorite human being in the world, but a guy that has a real chance to be a Hall of Fame player someday. So,
yeah. Otani is number 1 in the set, by the way. I got
very nice. It's a beautiful card. He's on our cover too.
Yes, he is. That's right. And hitting. I only got 1 Wander Franco base and the 1 Wander insert. So, man, if you went to a store and picked up a pack, your chances of getting a Wander Franco are probably not super high. I don't know if they did that on purpose.
So I think what I have seen so far is that they are not very common in the hobby. You're pretty much guaranteed a couple if you get the jumbo. And look, there's a big price difference between the jumbo. I think Top sells the hobby for around $75, and they sell the jumbo for a price that is not $75. So it is a difference. The one thing I'll say with the jumbo is that you are guaranteed an auto and you are guaranteed 2 relics. And being guaranteed the auto is a nice thing. Like, not every auto is treated equally. There are Griffin Jacks autos and there are Wander Franco autos, and there's everything in between. Mm-hmm. All due respect to Griffin Jacks, go Air Force. But it's it is something to keep in mind. If you're doing a high end stuff, then you probably want to go with the jumbo. If you are somebody who just likes to rip cards, and if you get something great, go the hobby. Look, I don't know if you saw this, DJ. somebody sent me a picture of Topps Heritage, and I think even the good folks at Topps would admit that Topps Heritage is maybe not their most high-end site. 1-of-1 cut auto of Jackie Robinson.
I saw that. That is incredible, man.
I mean, it wasn't even my card, and I was like running around the room because I was so excited for this dude. Because, like, cut autos automatically are valuable things. Cut auto of the most important baseball player of all time is a much different thing. Like, and that's out of a card box that may have cost him $75. I mean, that's the thing is, like, you can find great stuff in all of this stuff, but a Jackie Robinson cut out. I mean, I couldn't believe it.
Incredible. So I have one pack left, and it's the silver pack. It has some cool
my favorite
inserts in there. So we'll see what's in
Good
here.
luck.
And then I will be all done. But this was fun. I'm just collecting. I don't sell. I'm just, I mean, sometimes I'll buy from eBay, but I'm not super out there hunting for stuff. So this was just a cool experience to go in, and I got my 2 Wander Franco cards.
Beautiful. I got and one in insert.
I'm happy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm happy. So Shane Bieber, and like you were saying, these are really cool.
That's
the 87 style. Man. Yeah, it's really pretty.
I think that go ahead.
Rafael Devers.
That's a good player. Is he a first-round pick to you?
Without the speed element to his game, I don't know. He's fringy. It depends on the depth of the league. Like if it was like a 14-team league, I'd say probably so. And also third base is kind of bad this year. That's another important factor. This guy's pretty good.
Oh, that is a beautiful card. That is gorgeous. Yeah. So like we were talking about with I think the 86 design was better last year, but I think the silver pack 87s look better this year. So that's just kind of like a nice catch.
Yeah. Paul Goldschmidt's the last one in that pack.
Nice.
And then I get a home run challenge card. They come in all the silver packs.
Awesome.
So yeah, the Trout I'm very excited about.
That's a beautiful card, man. Yeah, that is. Look, if you're not going to get a rookie, and if you're not going to get an autograph, you want one of the GOATs, and he might be the GOAT when it's all said and done. So, like, that's really cool. I got to be honest with you, I'm still pretty excited about.
Hey, as you should be,
man. That is really cool. Yeah. So, and I could see that maybe being live now because I know Spencer Torkelson has signed a lot of stuff. So. By the way, Spencer Torkelson, absolutely somebody that I am considering at the very end of drafts for the end of the year, especially while he has that third base eligibility, because I don't think he's going to have it going forward. That's something to absolutely keep in mind. It's kind of like, isn't that kind of one of the reasons why third base is a little bit down, though, is a lot because Vladimir Guerrero is no longer a third baseman, on top of the fact that guys like Alec Bohm and Ke'Bryan Hayes just really didn't impress the way that we were hoping to. Would you say that's kind of the reason why third base is so down?
Yeah, I think going into last year, we had optimism that Hayes and Bohm would make that leap and make third base a much stronger position.
I love the position. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have hopes for Bohm because of his ability to make hard contact. Just he hit the ball on the ground so much. I also think adding the DH to the National League is really going to help Bohm confidence-wise. Because going out there and having those kind of struggles, that has to impact you in other areas of your game. So if he can just concentrate on hitting, which he can do, and I think he can add some more power too, because he's a pretty big guy. He's pretty lanky right now.
He is.
I think he's someone worth buying low on in like a dynasty format. Hayes, we'll see, because he had those hand issues, wrist issues all of last season. I think we just have to see what he looks like in the spring and get a gauge at that point. I think maybe he was a little bit overvalued based off of that small sample that he had.
100%.
He's not going to be like a 30 homer guy.
No.
But I still like him a lot, and he can play third base with the best.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is he might be the third base version of Christian Pache. He might be the that guy who is just so much more about because his defense is like he has a chance to be in that Adrian Beltre, Scott Rowland conversation someday. Like if he's not already, like he adds so much value with his glove. But that was the thing. In fact, we talked about it in our one of our podcasts, is that like he has the raw power to hit in that range, but he's never done that over a consistent season. He has never been that guy who hits a bunch of bombs. So
Right.
like I still like him. I still think he's got a chance to be at the very end of the season, like the top 10 third baseman. It wouldn't shock me at all because the talent is no question there. My other concern is who the heck is he going to drive in? Because that Pittsburgh lineup, especially if they trade Brian Reynolds, is just so awful. And as hard as RBIs are to predict, they become even harder to predict when your best offensive players are Brian Hayes and Oneil Cruz, who I both love long term, but maybe not the guys that are going to win you a league in 2022.
Yeah, I'm I love Oneil Cruz.
Oh, absolutely.
He's very aggressive. I wonder as pitchers get more of a look at him, how that will go for him. But he hits the ball so hard. He's freak.
Good. He's good.
I think. My question about Cruz though is he guaranteed to make the opening day roster?
I don't think so.
Play some games there.
I don't think so. Like this is the tough part. Like for every like Victor Robles, where they come up and they make the major league roster, there are a bunch of guys who just end up starting the year down. Especially for Cruz, like there are defensive questions anyway when you're built like a power forward. Like that's just going to be something. Like when you're Aaron Judge's height and playing shortstop, you can't help but wonder what the heck is going to happen there. But I do think that he would be the rare guy that the working on the defense thing actually applies. So that would be the other thing with Oneil Cruz is like, I don't know if he makes the opening day roster. I'll say this too, like this has nothing to do with what we were talking about really, but there are now 2 trades that the Dodgers, I think, are going to lose because they lost Josh Fields for Yordan Alvarez, and they definitely are going to lose Tony Watson for Oneil Cruz. It's funny because there was a long time where it was like the Dodgers have never lost a trade. Oh, they've lost a couple, and those 2 I think are the ones. And that's, by the way, the Tampa Bay Rays also have some losers too. Stop telling me that the Tampa Bay Rays have never lost a trade. Everybody loses a trade, especially Jerry Dipoto because he makes $6,000 every year.
Yeah. If you don't make trades, you can't lose them.
There you go.
That's how I feel about like dynasty leagues. I feel like sometimes when you're in a dynasty league, people are like afraid to trade top prospects. But for me, like, especially if you're going for it and you see your opportunity, like I usually just take it
because they fly forever, man. The championship is something that if you can go and get prospects again, especially in a dynasty league where you don't have to worry about like cap considerations or any type of financial things or player development systems. You can go get prospects. Like you can go and rebuild and stuff like that. It's amazing how many people like it's fun to draft. And, we just did our dynasty draft a couple of weeks ago, and it was funny to see like these veteran stars like fall into like the 3rd or 4th round because we're all, and I get it, man. Like I drafted Bobby Witt in the 3rd round. I get it. You want to have those potential long-term stars, but like Max Scherzer is a star right now. You probably want Max Scherzer on your team more than you want Bobby Witt Jr. on your team, even the pitcher and shortstop things. You know what? The Rays did trade Trey Turner, as a commenter, just to point out. That is true. It is a weird thing because maybe they couldn't have gotten Trey Turner if the 3-way trade doesn't go away. But that's true. But Trey Turner technically could be a Tampa Bay Ray right now, and I'm just sad thinking about the fact that they wouldn't pay him.
Trey Turner, spoiler alert, is my number 1 player in drafts this year.
Wow. He's high for me as well. I always like to ask questions like this because I play a lot of points leagues. Who's number 1 for you in points leagues? And I know that's kind of a tough one to answer right now. Okay. Assuming Shohei Ohtani is 2 different players.
Juan Soto, probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the guy that I would have as well, just because the walks mean so much more, and the fact that he doesn't steal bases. I mean, you kind of avoid stolen base type players a little bit more in point league things, just because they can hurt you so much more with that caught stealing. I think points leagues, by the way, and this is kind of a nice way to end. Do you think more formats should be points leagues or stuff like that? Or do you think, because I think the 5x5 is just, all due respect to it, is such an archaic way to play fantasy baseball. Do you think that we should be moving more towards that type of stuff? Or do you think that we just got to kind of stick with what works?
I'm open-minded to that, to points. I like the idea because I feel it's weighted a little bit more, which I like because, you look at 5x5, there's stats in there that don't really tell you the value of the player. And if you're chasing things like saves, and I think we're going to need to rethink that a little bit at some point, whether that should be the standard. One concept for a league, which I still might do this year if I have some extra time, if the season's delayed, I want to do a redraft league during the season. So you play the first half. I might have to save this for 2023, actually. I can have a full 162. But I want to play out the first half of the season. Then, you have your first, second, third place based on the first half of the season. So that'll be weighted toward the final standings. But then you redraft. Maybe you have a couple keepers. You redraft at the All-Star break, make it a big thing, have a nice fun draft during the All-Star break, and then play it out with basically new rosters. So you're going to have to think about first half strategy and second half strategy. Maybe second half, the prospects who get called up are a little bit higher on draft boards. And whereas in the first half, if they're not going to be up or play a lot, you're not even thinking about them. I think it would totally change the way that you think about fantasy baseball. I'd like to try it one of these years.
I think that's a really good idea, especially for okay, if I'm winning my league, maybe I'd be a little frustrated, hey, especially if I have this great roster or something like that. But it would just be so nice, because one of the things that, especially in fantasy baseball, because it's such a long season, is you have teams that fall out of it and just don't participate.
Yeah,
it's their second chance, man. It is that the chance to be able to give those people another chance to make the league competitive and stuff like that. Yeah. And maybe you do something like I do this in our fantasy football league. We actually reward the person that gets the first pick the next year is the person who wins the consolation bracket. So there's actually benefits to that. So maybe you don't give the team that finished 12th the first pick. Maybe you give them the 6th pick or something like that, and you reward the person who won the first league. Maybe you don't give him the first pick, because then what the heck is the point? You're probably just taking somebody who was already on your roster. But maybe he picks 4th or something like that. Or you have a draft lottery that's weighted based on standings or something like that. I think that's a great idea, because the biggest flaw to me with fantasy baseball, it's true with football a little bit too, but it's only 14 weeks. And I can't really speak to basketball because I haven't played it as much. But that's the biggest flaw with baseball is if you're casuals and if it's not a dynasty league, if their roster starts falling apart, there's just no reason to pay attention. And what you just said, that's an excellent reason to keep paying attention.
Yeah, I think that is the biggest reason to do it. Is that people get re-engaged around the All-Star break and can carry that throughout the rest of the season, still have a chance to finish in the money. I would like to try it this year. If I have to push it to next year because of the labor situation, I will. But I think it would be a cool experiment. Also, I think it would be fun to have a draft during the All-Star break and make it kind of like a fun event, hangout session type of thing.
I'm already saying that Drew, Ryan, and Matthew are in, so we can do that. I think that'd be awesome to have a mid-season draft during the season. We just made content while we were making content. We are truly content creators. We
may need it if we're going to be sitting here.
That's a good point.
So, but no, this was great. A lot of fun, Chris. Thanks so much. Congrats on your Torkelson card.
Thank you so much. For anybody who come in late, I'm going to show it off to you again. Inception silver signings of Spencer Torkelson. That's really cool. I can't stop smiling.
Thanks everyone for watching. This was a blast. We'll do more of these in the coming weeks and throughout the season probably too.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely that to look forward to, and hopefully some real baseball as well.
Absolutely.
They get that done soon enough. Thanks again, everyone. Take care.